What you are about to see is inspired by true events.
Narrating. Also, is there a bigger cop-out than inspired by true events? Not based on a true story. Not these events are entirely fictional. Pick a fucking lane, movie.
On the night of February 11th, 2005.
Movie starts off feeling more like an ID Discovery special than an actual movie. Also, if the movie is going to blatantly rip off the opening narration of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, couldn't they just go all in and get John Larroquette to do the voiceover? Was he too busy filming the McBride reunion special?
According to the FBI, there are an estimated 1.4 million violent crimes in America each year.
And at least 38% of them are mask-based, as you are about to see here. Damn, this movie has more text preamble than a fucking Star Wars movie.
Jordan, what happened?
There's blood everywhere!
I know Jordan's freaked out and all, but this is the least helpful 911 call ever. Pronoun game, non sequiturs, and unanswered questions abound. Liv Tyler. Jesus, this movie is Lars von Trier'ing some Dog Me 95 shit with this solemn opening. Is this a horror movie or a sequel to Dogville? Movie follows the sinister rule of horror movie characters that choose to stand in total darkness instead of turning on the fucking lights.
When did you do all this?
The fact that this movie sets up a tremendous amount of beautiful exposition with zero dialogue for 5 minutes at the beginning hammers home that the opening narration was really unnecessary, so I'm gonna sin that again. I know James had planned a super romantic evening and all, but where the did he get this number of candles to surround the tub? Eating your feelings cliche. When the did Kristen light this cigarette? We see the setup of the pack being placed on the table, but there's no time that any of those fuckers were lit up, and it's never seen again in this scene. Dude, how many bottles of champagne did you need for tonight? Sure, it was supposed to be a celebration of your love and shit, but it's starting to feel like you were actively planning to get Kristen drunk to make this proposal formal. Okay, the shaky cam aesthetic works in theory for this difficult conversation, but it's so goddamn shaky that I feel like I'm having a stroke while watching it. This ain't the fucking Born Identity, dude. Get a fucking steady cam.
Sad and lonely and I wonder.
Not content to let you assume that James is sad and lonely, movie hammers it over your head with a hyper-literal Wilco song.
You are my girl.
50 Shades Speed, men. Also, how do these assholes not know that they're in a horror movie? Having sex in a secluded location with no security system? Knock blocking.
Is Tamara here?
Movie's biggest sin might be that we never find out who the hell Tamara is. Although, since Gemma Ward plays Dollface here and Tamara in Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides, this could mean the Strangers is part of the POTC universe. If James suspected this was the issue with the light, why didn't he try this shit when the girl was on the front porch, after he haplessly flicked the switch? Also, there are 2 porch lights, so why did fixing one of them get both working? So, are they just gonna leave that fucking ice cream out all night? Like, it's probably already soup at this point. And that's Bluebell, not some rinky-dink grocery store brand. Damn it, I know you're upset, but show some fucking respect to the bell. Kristen clearly places the needle on the record at the beginning, and we hear the opening chords of Joanna Newsom's The Sprout and the Bean. But this is not the opening track of any of her records. Jeez, Liv Tyler holds a beer like she's a fucking cowboy at a saloon. The Strangers conveniently pick a house with a front door that possesses neither a peephole nor surrounding windows to be spotted prior to opening it. Yeah, but that shouldn't stop it from beeping, right? That fucking thing's on a battery.
Will you just stay on the phone with me? James?
Wow, the masked assholes have perfect timing to cut the phone line, even though there's no way they'd be able to hear what Kristen's saying. I guess the power of nicotine addiction is greater than the power of figuring out why the phone was randomly cut off during a discussion about a potential threat right outside the door. Damn it, that ice cream is still sitting out! Granted, this shot is creepy as fuck, but what's the masked guy's plan here if Kristen does see him? I thought he and his crew got their jollies off by intimidating and scaring their prey. If she turns a little to the left, movie's over. Apparently part of the plan to be super creepy involves picking up the shit that Kristen leaves on the floor. Ah, fucking jump scares! Stop it! You just gave us a much creepier visual a few minutes ago, damn it! You're better than this, movie. I hate jump scares. Kristen didn't get anywhere near the record player to make it start again, but it clearly has a dramatic sense of time. There were at least 2 of the strangers out there running all around the property and banging on mere seconds before James gets back in the house. How did he not see any of them?
I know there's somebody out there.
I saw a man at the back door, and he's wearing a mask.
Yeah, but what about the other girl at the front door? Maybe the guy in the back was more terrifying, but it would be extremely useful information to tell James that there's more than one of these assholes before he goes to hunt them.
No one out here. Nobody, come here.
But Kristen said they were at the door. She didn't say they were in the house yet, dickhole. I mean, is James literally looking everywhere except the fucking front and back doors? Also, I guess there's no reason to turn on an overhead light during this search.
She's watching us.
There are who knows how many windows in this fucking house, but Dollface happens to be standing in view of the exact one Kristen chooses to look out this exact moment.
She looks like a ghost.
Actually, she looks like a girl with a mask on and nothing like a ghost. Between this comment and the act of looking behind the boxes in the garage, when Kristen clearly tells James the people have been outside banging on the windows, it's starting to make sense why Kristen turned down the proposal.
One of them came in here and took my phone.
Kristen, nobody came in here.
When did James turn into such a disbelieving fuck? Kristen's statement about her phone being taken is easily provable. At least one of these killers went full-on Carrie Underwood on James's car, but they didn't hear any of it when they were searching the house. This is super creepy, but entirely impossible that James would not see the culprit in the time it takes him to turn around. 1 minute and 7 seconds of Speedman walking, followed by 23 seconds of Speedman staring. This movie's tagline should have been, more Speedman than you can handle. Why would James use his tie to treat Kristen's hand, instead of, like, any of the towels that are in the house, or even one of the napkins that are in very close proximity?
Since we've been here, I haven't heard a dog bark or a car pass.
First off, it's after 4 o'clock in the fucking morning, so I wouldn't expect a bunch of traffic. Second, what does this prove? Did the strangers kill all the pets in this neighborhood? They obviously didn't put up roadblocks, considering James was able to run out and get cigarettes.
Who is that?
How the crap did Pinup Girl even know they were backing out of the driveway at this time? They didn't have any lights on, and they were making very little noise. And she clearly had to come around a corner with a truck so she couldn't see them.
Get out the car.
Get out of the car? Get out of the car? Just drive around the truck, dumbass.
Whatever the strangers are throwing here is heavy enough for a series of massive jump scares, but not heavy enough to break the window. Have they tested this substance before? Jesus Christ, I know the strangers love fucking with people before they eventually kill them, but why? What, do they taste better if they're properly scared?
We're not gonna die here. We're gonna sit here. We wanna wait for cops to come or whatever. I'm not gonna die.
Because cops tend to show up when no one has called them. Despite seeing all this damage and just being shot at, Mike walks right the up to the house instead of calling the cops first.
Hello? Jimmy? Kristen?
Probably would have been super helpful if Mike kept calling out their names once he enters the house.
Hello.
James clearly isn't a fan of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I know James called Mike earlier, and it's always nice to see Glenn Howerton show up, but the Mike character is clearly written solely because the movie wants another dead body. You take the Mike scene out and nothing changes.
There's an old radio out in the barn. I'm gonna try and call for help.
This house has everything you need in the most inconvenient places possible. It's as if it was constructed specifically for a horror movie. Wow, the strangers got their weirdly specific graffiti up quickly. Also, how did they know that James would go out this way after he killed the dude from AP Bio?
I want you to hide there. I'll keep them away. I'll come find you.
Really seems like this movie is better than a character split up in a horror movie for no reason cliche, but here we are. But seriously, why the wouldn't she go with him? He's got the gun. There are multiple attackers. God damn, this part of the movie bothers me. Why is she wandering around the barn with a flashlight? They had them surrounded in the house just a couple minutes ago. When exactly did she think James or Kristen had run down to the barn?
James.
Makes perfect sense to whisper here when Kristen knows James is at the very least 20 or 30 feet away from her. This movie answers the important question of whatever happened to the unknown comic. Kristen takes off running, as if she knows that nothing interesting has happened for 3 minutes. Oh no, Kristen tripped over darkness? The fuck are they doing in there? Are the strangers busting up some shit in the house to kill some time while they wait to kill some people? Considering all these disappearing acts, this movie really only makes sense if the killers are actually fucking ghosts. Man, between the axe in the door, the message scrawled on the windows, and the use of ham radio, it's clear this movie really wants to be The Shining. Seriously, do these people have a Casio keyboard they're running around with, set on haunted house sound effects mode?
Help me.
Where are you?
Totally get this crew is having fun fucking around with them, but why wouldn't they have already destroyed the radio? They've been in the barn, so they knew it was there and already cut the phone lines and destroyed their cell phones. Weren't the strangers content with the slashed tires and busted windows? Setting the fire is more likely to draw some unneeded attention to this location than, say, not setting a fire. Movie can't even candle right. Earlier in the movie there were clearly only 2, but they've somehow multiplied during the runtime. Also, even if this is in real time, you're telling me that in an hour they haven't burned down any more than that? Or even gone out, considering how wide open the front door is? They just now thought to cut the power? Isn't that one of the first steps in the murder playbook? Okay, there is no way that ice cream is anywhere near solid form at this point. Horror Movie 101 lesson. Why you might not want to trap yourself in an enclosed space such as a fucking pantry when hiding from killers. Damn, for a guy with obvious respiratory issues, Baghead here has done a lot of unnecessary running around tonight.
Why are you doing this to us?
Because you were home.
Scariest motive ever on film or lazy screenwriting? Don't worry, Scott. Even though this means you won't be in Prey at Night, there's always a spot for you in 17 Underworld sequels. Man, even clinging to life Liv Tyler is sexy as hell. Is that wrong? That's probably wrong. Why did they stop to talk to ChristianMingle.com in the first place? Both of these kids probably had enough of a look at Dollface to create a convincing police sketch. When exactly did the strangers take the time to put the Joanna Newsom record back on? The last one they played was Merle Haggard when Mike walked in. I mean, are these kids not freaked out in the slightest by all this deadness? Like, I know evangelicals are weird and shit, but he's getting right up into the bodies here with no visible effect. Movie ends on one last jump scare just in case you made it all this way without shitting yourself.
Release the beast boys, let the killing commence!
Don't wanna close my eyes.
I hate this.
Hello.
This is my rifle! There are many like it, but this one is mine!
I think I just figured something out, Beavis. This sucks.
I want the knife.
I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip.
What the Mexican fireman name his two kids, Jose and Jose B.
It's 9 o'clock on a Saturday.